right. So there is still staffers joining in, so we're gonna give a couple more seconds, but we are live. I'm really excited about this meetup. Thank you everyone for joining on to another XAFers community stand-up. Today is a great one. We're gonna be talking about the XAF roadmap 2023, but it will be from the point of going through the actual plan that already DevExpress released on their blog post. Last meetup, we were talking about the widgets that we want, the pains that we are still working through, but this time is the actual implementation that are going to be coming in 2022. Really excited to have Dennis here. Dennis will be presenting a couple exciting features that are coming and also discussing what is the plan for this year. As always, feel free to ask questions, to put your experience, your pain points on the chat. I will do the regular round where Hoche, Dave, and Dennis introduce themselves, and then I will jump straight to give Dennis the screen, the scenario, so he can jump to this meetup. And I'm planning on stopping the recording as soon as he finishes, so we get a condensed 30 minutes with everything, all the goodness that are coming in 2023. Okay, thanks again for coming, and Dave, Hoche, Dennis, whoever wants to take the word for just a second. And we go from there.
I'll start. So, well, my name is Hoche Ojeda. I work for Sari and Forbit Frameworks. I'm a DevExpress MVP, and XAF is one of my passions at work. So if you have a doubt, just send us an email to the office and we will try to help you.
Perfect. We'll go next, Dave from Llama Chan Technology, using XAF since 2007, 2008 when it was initially released. We still focus very heavily on XAF apps, training and development. So if you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to reach out to us as well. And I'm excited to see what happens today. I'll pass it over to Dennis.
Thank you. My name is Dennis. I'm a product manager at DevExpress, and he's my son. I hope he will not interrupt us during the meeting. Thank you.
Now that's really awesome. Like my daughter is always in all my meetings with all my clients, with all our students, in all training, in all projects. So he knows more about our projects than even myself. He's always pointing out to the developers working with me, saying, what is he doing? What's his name? What is this about? And I try to explain him briefly. So I'm hoping to get the next generation ready for when we can retire. Okay, Dennis, I'm not gonna delay this more. I'm gonna pass the control completely to you, the screen. We're really excited to have you here. So thank you for joining in, and let's see what we have on the store for 2023. After your presentation, I will show the same sitemap that we presented last meetup, and you will see that almost everything that we put in there is already covering what's coming in the roadmap from blog. So thank you.
Okay, can you see my screen now?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, perfect. Let's start from the roadmap as planned. Before I start, I just wanted to thank you everybody for being with us, being with XAF, for your great feedback. It's very helpful, and I hope our products will continue to help your business too. So we have this week we have published our roadmap for the first half of 2023. As always, a small disclaimer that everything we published here is just our best forecast, and as you know, we are all developers. Things change sometimes, so we have to adapt. So it's not final list. Some things can be added, some things can be changed, or etc. So as you all might understand, our main focus continues to be on Blazor. I hope you enjoyed, you liked our latest major release, where we added many features to the grid control, to the editors. And this year, we will certainly continue to improve on this side. One of the most popular requests right now for XAF Blazor UI is scheduler integration. Before, our customers could integrate, for example, JavaScript controls or Blazor schedule control manually. Many of you may remember nice examples from Jose and Hoche and videos they built. So thank you for this. I think you saved many hours to us, to customers. And this year we hope to make the schedule control integration by default. So we will take the Blazor control, then additionally test it in all important scenarios. For example, with XPO ORM, with Entity Framework ORM, because there are some important changes to be done for performance, for usability. And besides that, we will integrate schedule, will nicely integrate it within XAF infrastructure, I mean, all controllers, property editors, etc. In the first version, we don't anticipate to support multiple resources or so-called shared resources, but we already provided feedback to the team that builds Blazor components, and they will take it into account for the future improvement of this control. So far, we have built our first spec solution, and it looked good. So continue. The next popular request among our customers is filter control integration. As you may remember, we have it in WinForms and WebForms UI, and it helps a lot when it comes to filtering a large data grid, or for example, when you set up security permissions. And at this stage, we don't have a filter editor in our Blazor component line. So we consider this requirement of XAF customers important, and we decided to reuse the filter editor, which is already available in our JavaScript product lines. You may all remember this from, for example, from Dashboard Designer or from Report Designer. So we cooperated with these teams, and we just reused this JavaScript control in XAF. Of course, this JavaScript control, technically it has no knowledge of XPO or XAF, so not all advanced features will be available. For example, XPO free joins or some XPO specific extensions of our criteria language. But anyway, the functionality that's already available by default in this control, it's pretty solid, and it covers the majority of scenarios we are aware of. What next? Of course, for any business application, data grid is one of the most important controls, and we continue to improve usability in this regard. For example, we naturally support many options from the model editor. I mean, the options that you can see in list view node, for example, show find panel, preview column, showing footer, etc. And you may remember that you already can configure those options in a platform agnostic module, and so we will make it possible to reuse those settings in Blazor project as well. What else? As part of our scheduler integration, we will add additional property editors. For example, you may remember when you create a new appointment, you may need to specify some priorities, some states, and typically here you can use an editor like this with some items with some images, and as part of this we will improve our enumeration property editor by supporting images so that the items are easier to distinguish by end users. And also we will support a built-in color property editor, which is helpful, as I said, for resources. The next interesting improvement is about menu toolbar, and here I'm talking about the additional actions or menu commands that were highly requested by our customers. For example, it's very common to just browse your data. So you go to list view, you click to open a detail view, and you just want to check items, records one by one. And here, for example, next and previous actions are essential. And in the past, we have them disabled, and we are now supporting them for the next major release. Also, we wanted to improve usability of detail forms, trying to remove unnecessary actions that occupy place, and also provide highlight and better place comments that are most used. For example, save and close, save and view. And here you can see we moved those sections to the right, and also added save and new and save and close, similar to what it was available in I'll demo this in a few minutes live, so we can see it. Next, you may remember our surveys about images, and we understand that images are important, and this cannot be compromised in favor of some designer innovation, like it was, for example, in the old web forms UI. You remember that there we tried to make our forms more, to add more air to them, to add bigger paddings, etc. And we have now reconsidered this based on user feedback, and images is part of this remake. This feature it's again about Blazor detail forms, and it's mainly about ease of customization. The main motivation for us for this feature to bring this originally WinForms feature to the web is to save time to XAF developers. The issue is that developers often, not often, right now, always, for when they build web applications, they have to configure form layouts themselves for their clients. And they don't have this opportunity to pass this responsibility to their clients, for example, to application administrators or power users. If there was a designer for the web, we believe the lives of XAF developers would be much easier. I remember myself, I was visiting a client in Finland, and we were in some organization where regular end users they were allowed to customize the application UI. I mean, for example, to move some fields up and down because they are domain experts in their area, and they feel comfortable to customize forms as they need them. And this feature, again, it saves a lot of time. I will demo it in a few minutes as well. Any questions before I move forward? Maybe from the audience.
Yeah, there are a couple on the chat. Let me just go through them. The first one is from Jean Paul. He's asking font support for font ASM icons.
Can you say it again? Support for
the font ASM icons.
I understand. Font awesome. Right now, for this release, the focus is to provide our own images. I mean, colored images. There is still the capability to use any third-party images, and I can say that we checked that we have automated tests for all third-party providers, but I can confirm that many of our clients are using own images or ordering them from third parties like Font Awesome.
Yeah, and we have used it in other projects. Dave is showing a picture of their integration with a custom editor. So basically, you can always copy it to your project or point to the CDN, like link to it, and then use it. So there is also a few comments about moving the delete action up as well with the new. Alan was mentioning sometimes the customer go to the nested list view, select the item, but then delete the detail view. And Jean Paul is saying that sometimes it would be good to have the delete with a pop-up showing like a asset and cancel, and then showing the data that you're deleting as well, just to prevent any type of not desired deletion.
Yeah, it makes sense, and I want to say that we are still researching our UX designers how to approach it best, because we are in a difficult situation, as framework builders, that we have to satisfy the majority of customers, and everyone has its own preferences, and we are trying to find some in the middle. ground here. And here's the ticket link. I encourage everyone to share your thoughts on this, and I can say that this feedback already affected or changed our plans, and we will continue to look for more comments just to come up with a final decision. For example, I can say that we will unlikely to include this quick create action. It's shown here because it was not well accepted. But we're likely to remove, for example, the new action from the menu by default. We also likely hide captions for certain menu items like refresh and some others, just to save a place for other comments. So please share your feedback. We'll consider it.
Yeah, I think that's it. There was no other question, just that discussion about the delete and the phone action icon.
Okay. Then I can continue. The next enhancements we hope to implement. It's again about detail form layouts, but this time it's about code-based customization. For example, you may remember our WinForms and WebForms examples, where we demonstrated how to, for example, access the some layout groups, some tab groups, and to change their properties, to add some additional logic, for example, when a tab is clicked, etc. And for Blazor, the current API is not very flexible, and we want to extend Blazor layout manager with similar events like item created, and that will allow users to identify a layout item, access its control, and to do whatever magic they want to do. And we hope that it will help for advanced scenarios. At least we have received a lot of requests to justify its implementation. The next item is interesting. Maybe the name is not 100% correct. I would now call it SAS ready, because SAS usually means that you host some service and serve some multiple clients. Here I'm talking about a module, basically a built-in module that will simplify such scenarios for XAF developers. For example, when we talk about multi-tenant support, immediately the following questions arise. For example, should it be a single database, or should it be multiple databases? If it's a single database, should data of different tenants will be placed in the same schema or in different schemas? When we talk about multiple databases, again, we should plan whether to create this database by default, to do it automatically or to do it manually. Also, the questions about data storage occur. Questions about performance, about authentication, about licensing in advanced scenarios. For example, when you build some tenant or client-specific modules and you want to grant different access rights to different clients. So, for example, you have like a license pack and features linked to this license pack. There are, in short, there are many questions, and we hope to at least address some of them. And for this, to better understand requirements of the majority of our customers, we published this survey. I hope you will provide some information if this topic is interesting for you. And based on this, we will improve our built-in module accordingly. At this stage, we, of course, before publishing this, we have analyzed requests that we had from the support center, from email and other sources, previous surveys, and we already started to build. We started to build the first example, the first demo. Currently, this demo makes it easier to implement the following scenarios. You may remember this example about runtime database changes when you specify some company or database, and then based on this, XAF creates database automatically. This one scenario, and naturally, another scenario is about controlling access to data of different tenants. And here our security system comes into play, and we have just simplified those two examples to 4 code lines, at least how I saw it yesterday. So it should be much simpler, at least for these popular scenarios, and we are looking for additional feedback from our customers. The next topic, it's about entity framework support. As you remember, we have supported entity framework core 6, and we plan to support the latest version, 7th. And we hope to overcome some breaking changes that this version has. And we also hope to provide built-in middle tier security support. This middle tier security is important for large enterprise customers, because I think middle tier is the only options. You have very strict security requirements. So, I mean, when you have to make sure that your application is connected not directly to database, but through some middleware. And by default, as you know, we have a mode that connects to database by default, and to ensure the highest security possible, you have to perform additional actions at your database side, and also at the application side, for example, to not to expose connection link and to protect code, etc. And middle tier security simplifies those things for such scenarios. Another interesting enhancements, it's about ASP.NET Core, about modern approaches, and about dependency injection. We have received many requests from our customers when they hope to get the same flow they have in when they develop ASP.NET Core API controllers or ASP.NET MVC applications. For example, in such non-XAF applications, you can just pass required dependencies, for example, some services. You can pass such dependencies as constructor parameters or as properties. And currently, it's not possible to implement easily with XAF, and we want to resolve this in the next version. Here you can see that the same approach is used with XAF view controller in this case. So we just provide a custom constructor, use some Microsoft attribute, and that's it. So you can get your dependencies with less code. Continuing on this topic on ASP.NET Core, I want to mention that we will further improve our web API service that we released last year. Our main focus for this release is developer usability, documentation, and also some features. For documentation, for example, we will continue our video series and publish popular .NET MAUI and Blazor WebAssembly examples on GitHub, so that our customers could get started faster with those platforms. Also, we hope to improve how developers consume our web service. Currently, there are some issues when you use external tools that require Swagger's schema support, and we will improve this part. I mean, so that XAF developers don't need to write additional code for this. Also, one of the popular requests is about batch update, which is part of data specification. Well, I think that's it, and it's time for a demo, because I don't want it to be boring. So, Jose, can you check some questions before I dive into Visual Studio?
Yeah, I don't see any questions, Danny, but I just want to mention the dependency injection that looks awesome. I know, like right now, we only have to call the service provider, but the ability to have it right there in our construction of controller, that will please a lot of developers, and especially new developers coming into the world of stuff. And also the multi-tenant part as well, that looks really good. I know that has a lot of consideration. Are we sharing a table against all the other clients? Are we sharing, are going to be global products or products that are going to be shared by any type of division or any type? So there is a lot of considerations there. So I'm really appreciated that we are going to have something out of the box to make all of those like more easier for the developer to starting out. As always, everyone, feel welcome to put questions and comments on the chat, and we're excited to see the demo.
Yeah. Just I forgot a quick note about dependency injection. We also already made it possible to use the same techniques in WinForms applications, because we want to make sure that developers are not limited to Blazor. I mean, with all those nice modern technology, and I hope it will save time, because I almost cried when I saw how certain customers implemented this manually. I mean, for example, this task requires building a custom controllers manager, so it's very deep inside XAF. Okay, let's go to Visual Studio. By the way, since I opened this demo, let me move it somewhere. I want to advertise that our main demo now contains unit tests infrastructure. It was asked for some advanced XAF developers in the past, and we started moving in this direction. And last year we have added functional testing infrastructure that allows you to write end-to-end tests with C#. It's very helpful for testing Blazor applications. We use it a lot internally. These tests are based on Selenium driver, and it helps you ensure a great quality of your applications and have less headache at the end. And in the last release, we have added unit tests for Web API service. Here you can see, for example, tests for create, read, update, delete operations, some API calls, and we already received feedback that these tests and also the documentation we provided with specific API calls already saved time. For example, when we built a .NET MAUI application that was talking to our Web API service, you basically have to write those HTTP client calls. You have to provide authentication tokens. You have to provide some data query options. So we hope you will find this example code helpful for your future products. Okay, that's the end of my advertisement. Let's go to the demo part. I will open the model editor, and I want to show you.
We're not seeing Visual Studio yet.
Yeah, I think we're paused on the screen or something.
Can you see my Visual Studio?
No.
Maybe I pressed something.
Yeah, did you pause the screen share in Zoom, maybe?
Yeah, I'm trying to. Yeah, it's my accidental click. Yeah.
Here we go.
So I want to give you a quick demo of runtime layout customization in Blazor applications. Just a disclaimer that it's very early and not just our spike, so there are some known issues. And my goal is to just show you the main concept, and don't pay attention that it's not very polished from the UI side. So for layout customization, we first have to allow it, because not everybody wants it. And for this, we have an option in the model editor. I will set it to true, customization enabled, and then just hit. Okay. Now, hopefully, the Visual Studio shows me something, and it really does. Slowly. Debugging. I think I did not pray to demo gods before the meeting because it started instantly. Before meeting started. Okay, let me maybe. Yeah, it's very unusual delay. Let me stop it and try again because something is wrong. Okay. Yeah, it happens. Jose, can you check some questions before?
Yeah, the only 2 comments are looking forward to dependency injection in the business object level, and the second one, a Blazor version of the model editor. Those are the 2 comments in the chat.
Yeah, let's have a dream.
Thank you.
Yeah, layout customization is the first step in this direction. Oh, thank you, Visual Studio. But realistically, I don't expect a full version of model editor on the web because it's how to say, it's too complex to implement in the first place, too costly, and for end users, I think I would not make it this way. I mean, the same way it's available in WinForm because it's too complicated. Anyway, here it starts. Let's go into employee detail view, for example. Here, yeah, something wrong with my computer, obviously. Here I have a test build that involves the layout customization form by default, just to make it easy to test, not to invoke it every time. So it started automatically, and I remind you that it's just an early spike, and I just want to show you its main concept. Here you can see a tree that contains layout items or the structure of layout on the screen, and it's pretty similar to what you used to in WinForms. For example, you can see at the top you see visible items, and at the bottom you see hidden items. And imagine I want to add a hidden item location beneath this group. So I can select, I can right click as I showed and select an item, and here it goes. Yeah, I hope you can see it. Of course, layout changes, they must be remembered when you leave the view, when you save the changes. And when I reopen this view, let me put it aside, it stays where I edited. Now, what if I'm still unhappy with this layout and I want to move it? And I can just, as in WinForms, I can try to find a better location for this item. So the page reloads and here it comes. And here you can also, of course, you can, in this tree, you can see additional commands, for example, like add a new layout group, add a new tab. you also must be able to change properties of layout items. For example, change captions to hide some items. And this is pretty similar to what you are used in WinForms. For example, right now I just hit the tab layout group. And we have determined a subset of the most popular tasks for layout customization. And we hope to implement them in 23.1. Among the most popular options, it's renaming, resizing, moving, changing positions, hiding, showing, adding a new layout group, hiding items, removing layout groups. And as you may understand, we don't expect the same bunch of functions available in WinForms, because the web is a different platform, and it's and implementation is more costly when compared to WinForms, at least from our side and as a framework builder. That's it. Maybe you have some questions, some suggestions about whether you use it in your applications, or share your experience from WinForms, how often you allow your clients to customize the layout by default. That will be helpful to hear.
I have a quick question, Dennis. It's Robert Anderson here. We've spoken many times over the years, but this is the first time I actually see you.
Yeah.
Hi, good to see you. Is this being persisted to the model, or is it being persisted to the database? And in this example, the changes.
I understood. It depends on how you configured your applications. We have, as you know, we have a database model storage. We have a file model storage, and by default, the XAF solution wizard creates a database storage, but it's optional. You can just disable it. It's up to you. So it's pretty similar to what you have in WinForms. It's absolutely the same, and it's the same for example, for list view. When you move columns, it also saves either in file storage or in database storage. We also, for these particular applications, we are using browser local storage. I mean, just because we need to test it, changes often. So I can just, we made an option to just hit F5 and layout goes to the original state. So you can implement additional storages as well. So it's fully up to you. So you can see that it reverted to the original version. Okay. The next thing I wanted to show you, is the next preview actions. The scenario that I briefly described is described when you just need to navigate through items to just read data, and it's easy to do without reopening every time. Also, at the same time, I want to show you the save and new and save and close sections. Here we made it in them in one container, and it remembers your last choice. For example, if I hit save and close, it stays as the current option. For example, when you need to create a lot of items, save and create can be useful to remember this. Any questions so far?
Yeah, just one was mentioned and he didn't show the reset button for the layout, but I thought that you explained that with the F5. You can do any kind of customization that you want and then go back to your original layout if needed. I think that that looks really promising. And the save a new part, we actually had a client who was requesting that on the pop-ups. So they can have a pop-up and save a new, create another one, save a new, create another one. We having to reopen. So that's nice.
Yeah, about reverting changes. Here I want to emphasize that it's an early spike, and here we intentionally built it to use F5. But in production, we will build a normal reset changes or something exactly as it is available in WinForms. And there also we hope to make redo undo functionality, so you can revert it step by step. Okay. Jose, I think that's it for the demo, and if I have time, I can return to my presentation because I have more items to show if I can.
Yes, absolutely. Please do.
Okay. I have a couple of slides. Just wanted to share some tips and tricks, some notice about known issues, for example. The first item is about performance, Blazor application performance in particular, I mean scalability. Because when we talk about SAS scenarios, it's getting more important. And I'm not sure that many of you have noticed this. Maybe we should promote it better, but the latest version, 22.2.4, has some important performance enhancements that are noticeable. And we have confirmed it internally in our internal tests, and also some of our customers confirmed as well. You may notice that, for example, with 50 concurrent users, the speed of opening detail forms can be up to 3 times better. And the core of this enhancement is to was the application model optimization. You know, we have changed the way we access application model nodes internally. I mean, we previously there was a log because we wanted to avoid changes to application model at the same time, and we have altered this implementation for the web because it's much less critical for web users, because you mostly read your data, you rarely have extensive application model customization. And of course, removing the log greatly improves the performance. And this time we have done it at application model level, and we also see a room for further improvement at other layers like types info system and other subsystems. So check it out. I remember we published an example about using XAF laser applications with Kubernetes. And that time, unless I'm mistaken, we had like 300 users or so. I also remember Hoche did a nice video and test with 100 users. So in these scenarios, you will notice better performance. What next? I wanted to again promote our code diagnostics in Visual Studio, just because it saves your time. I mean, your time. It prevents popular mistakes that you may have when designing your controllers, when designing your data models. Recently, I posted in our Facebook group with an example of such a mistake. For example, you may have some old code that that is not using the modern name of statements and has all property names hard-coded, like in this example. And here you can spot a mistake that you have a property name, but internally you have age, maybe due some refactoring, I don't know. And our diagnostic automatically detects this mistake, and you can fix it. And there are basically like 30 at this time diagnostics. They're different for XPO, for entity framework, for controllers, and I hope they will save you time. Just try it and please tell us how it works for you. Well, I already showed you unit and functional tests, and also I just wanted to promote an answer to this very popular question among customers: what to do to upgrade your XAF application, where to look for migration instructions. And I just wanted to promote this page. It's called current version build, and it's also available when you just enter developer.com. This page is available from the bottom. Let me show you its version history. So if you forget the URL, here you can just see all the product lines we have, and you can navigate to specific versions to see which IDE versions are supported, which frameworks are supported, and also you can navigate to the changes for each version. For example, you can see this. Here you can see the list of major enhancements, what's new, and more important for our original question is how to update your applications. And here we have a tool that allows you to, for example, specify a version from which are upgrading. For example, let's say our application is on 22.1, and I can specify the next the target version, and this tool automatically shows me the list of all breaking changes and known issues, and I can, of course, I can filter it to the products I use. For example, I don't need Office file API. I don't need reporting. I don't need WinUI, UVP. And here you can see that the list is filtered. You can see the list of fixed bugs. You can see the list of breaking changes. Let me also filter for this. And here you can see all the documentation our team has prepared, because we pay a lot of attention to documenting breaking changes, and we often provide some migration tools. For example, if we talk about Entity Framework Core in 22.2, there were some major changes due to the changes in EF Core 6, and we even provided some automatic conversion tools to update your database. And there are other items with helpful information. Okay. And before I finish, I want to share information about a couple of known issues in the latest XAF version, just to save your time, because you may hit them and have questions. And the first issue is about code diagnostics. We found some specific situation, and I think like 5 customers hit it, and we already fixed it. But the issue that your Visual Studio compilation can sometimes take a while, and you can work around it by disabling automatic code analysis in Visual Studio settings. And that's the first issue. The second issue is about application performance. It's about application startup. You know, we are updating our code to be more secure. So we are rewriting certain things like how we load assemblies, how we load types, and we are preventing any sorts of attacks. So to save our customers, and this issue is a consequence of one of our recent fixes. This one hasn't yet been fixed, but we are working on it. And basically, you can notice in that your application startup may be a bit slower, your CPU usage may be high, but again, it's not affecting all the applications, all the scenarios. Well, that's basically it, I think. Jose?
Hey, thanks a lot for a wonderful presentation. There was a lot of information covered there. I really enjoy all the code analysis that we have integrated now, because it really helps any new developer to actually avoid common mistakes. And the latest one about when we rename the property, and in the set property value, we have still the string, and that's a really good one, because before I'm pretty sure that a lot of people have run through into that one at some point in the future.
Yeah, I have to confess, actually, we found mistakes in our internal code, in our demos, when we enabled those diagnostic packages by default. So we are dogfooding our products, so we have now enabled those packages in all the internal applications and also in public demos as well. So
Perfect. So if anyone else have a questions for Danny, now is the moment. So or any comment about what is coming, I think that we have a lot of great things coming up. I think that 2023 will be the year of SAF with all the Blazor layout, the multi-tenancy, the speed improvement with the mod, with the lock on the little views, with the scheduler, the filter editor. I think that is a dream come true. So anyone else who have any comment for him, I want to really appreciate Dennis for joining us here and showing us everything that is in the works. And if not, I'm gonna stop the recording for just a second because I definitely want to keep this roadmap video to the point, and then it gives us a lot to think about. And then we can just, as always, talk a little bit about projects or show demos.
I just wanted to quickly add that we have now published, I think, XAF roadmap. We have published WinForms roadmap, and we will continue publishing roadmaps for other products as well. So please stay tuned, watch our community side, the blogs, and hopefully you will enjoy what you're seeing. For example, our Blazor component team, it's a separate team from XAF at DevExpress. It's working on improving the grid control, and the last time I saw that they are implementing column header filters. It also was one of the popular requests from XAF users. So you will benefit from this automatically. And of course, there are many other enhancements coming to Blazor, and WinForms and reporting and whatever.
Nice. Yeah, actually, I was waiting for the roadmap to schedule this meetup. As soon as I saw the blog was released, I right away scheduled the meetup because I really want to have a discussion about this. But it was even better having you here and going and walking us through everything that we want. And actually, I will show for just 1 minute before we. This was a discussion that we have like last time about SAF in 2023, where we talk about the scheduler is coming, the filter criteria is coming, about a previous runtime customization, master details. So there is a lot of things here that are going to be available for us. So I'm excited. The tab image as well. We have all those images now available for us in the layout. So this is happening. All right, Danny, thank you for joining in. I'm gonna quickly stop the recording and then we can jump to. Okay. All right, so as always, we use these times, these meetings to catch up on everything that we have done or any questions that we have seen in the community, show any small demo or just discuss a little bit. Today we have a lot to think about, but I wanna show one of our students asked us to show how to create a landing page for a staff project. So basically, we're going to talk about having some type of application that you have a completely custom landing page, and from there they can click login to go to the login screen on staff and start their regular application, or they can register or things like that. And I think that it was a really nice example and pretty easy to build. So let's show it real quick. Let's give it a second. You will be amazed how easy we can create this type of customizations now.
Jose, I think you did not pray to the gods as well, demo gods.
Yeah, that's what we're having. Let's see. I think that is. Let's see. Okay, right here. So we have a landing page. It doesn't matter. This is just a regular Razor page that it adapts to the screen size. This is a regular HTML template, and basically, if we go to the register, it gives us a pop-up from that we can create our information. If we click login, it sends us to the login page of SAF. So we have just one application that you can have public facing that give you all the marketing or everything you need from your company, and then you click login and you get into the actual ERP line of business app that you need. So if you think about this, is like, I was amazed when we realized how simple to build this is. So basically, we're going to create, of course, a new Razor page, and we're going to add the directive of this is the starting page of our application. We have to go to our host page and remove that from here. And after that, we are going to make sure that our landing page, and right here, we are just basically adding a component. And if you guys have use Blazor with MVC, you know that this is the type of like markup. You put component, what is the type of the component, and you let them know where to look for it. And this component only have 2 buttons, and the login and the show the model to the register. But if you go to the login part, the only thing that we're going to do here is navigate to our login page. So to our page from our login page that is in our startup. So the same one here. So if you customize your login page and you change it somehow, just make sure that you put the same one. But with that one, you're good to go. You have a landing page that you created like a regular HTML, and then you put anything you need here. And you have then your navigation that takes you to the login page from XAF, just to get to your line of business app. And then you can have your marketing completely go crazy and make all the features of your company. So I'm actually thinking of doing something like that with the Sari website, and they have a login to some, like, I don't know, customer portal thing for tickets or for things like that. I think that this will integrate really well, and also is what we do 24/7. So it makes sense that we do it this way. All right. So this was the first one. This was a simple one, but I think that it shows you a lot of course, I think that this is already by default, because if you see, this is the old version. This is still when we have module Blazor, module Wing, and so on. But the other thing that you always have to think about is the routing. So make sure that you have in your router component that takes the assembly that you need. So, you know, but that's it. Now, this is the first one. The second one, I just want to mention this, and it's really congratulate the DevExpress team. Dennis is here just for this small change. It's really simple, everyone. Like, I know that we have talked about this in the past, but if you are only doing Blazor, like especially for new people that they are only familiar with Blazor, they are not doing Wing forms, they are just having a Blazor project, you can delete the module completely. You can completely delete the module, and then you can use everything. You see, we created a business object folder. You can put your business object there, your controller, everything will be one project. So that one project, sometimes for new developers and even for yourself, it will be like everything is just in one project. Like if you see Mau is going to single project, everything is just this type of. So we can do this here. And like I create this, if you see, say XAF delete, and we put a domain object 2 here, and then we inherit from that domain object 2, and this is working perfectly. But you can delete completely the XAF module. And we were like going a little bit crazy. We were trying to trick the HP object type. So because we have a old legacy application, and then we created a new Blazor application that connects to that legacy, but that legacy still had the security, all security system, all report, all crazy things. So we were really, the Blazor application cannot touch the database or anything in the other side. So we were updating databases, making like that one was module info for compatibility, and this one we put a database schema. We make sure that we don't allow the updater to run. We disable everything, but the HP object type then give us a little bit of issue. So we came here to the assembly name of this module, and we like put the same name of the other application, and then we try to trick the HP object type to think that it's the same one, and it works really good. So that's why I remember. I think that a lot of people are still creating new projects, but they don't know that if they don't need the module, just feel free to delete it, and you will be good to go. There is nothing that prevents you to do that.
Yeah. Thank you for highlighting this small enhancement, and it really was inspired by your feedback in the past, and all the other customers mentioned. And I'm thinking about an option, wizard, to make it configurable so that people can select it by default without any additional steps. Because lately web development wins or win from development, and not all are creating win from project at the same time. Module project it's helpful just for separation. I mean, if you build complex applications, if you have mobile application, you will share at least your data model. But for simple applications, for sure, it's better to have a single project.
I have to mention, we have like several clients now. They are only doing Blazor. They are not interested in Windows. They say Blazor, Blazor, Blazor. We don't want anything else. For those projects, we can definitely just use the project, the application project, and forget about the diagnostic one. And I think that that's a really, really good possibility to have. Dave, consider it done. I definitely would create a demo with a complete from file new project until we get this complete landing page demo in place. So I have all the steps there. I think that is really useful, and it opens the door to a lot of like custom applications.
Absolutely. So many times we've done a separate, I hate to say we've used WordPress for a marketing page, and then we use XAF in the backend for the logins, and to have it cohesive in one would be really, really nice. So
no, I completely agree. And one thing that I just want to mention, I think that I have it here, is if you create your own login page, like completely done for you, and you want like a custom public page, but then you want to make sure that the user is authenticated. Before there was an identity authentication service, but this is deprecated. The one that you have to use right now is the principal provider. Just a word of caution there, because we have to update an app and we have to remove that. Okay, so this is another one thing that I want to mention, because we are really, really excited about the things that Blazor allows to do. Right here, we have all the documentation to create a new theme. And we have a few customers that are like, I just want to change, like most of the clients, they are not looking for a complete theme from beginning to scratch. They just want to change the primary colors. They just want to change maybe the font and like 3 or 4 things, and that's it. So we look into that. And of course, I'm not going to go through all the steps here, because you have to like make sure that you have Node and NPM, then you have to initialize it, you have to build it, you have to take that one. But basically, if you follow these steps, you create that, that basically it will create your new CS system. And there you're going to have a place where you're going to be able, and right here, to customize anything you want, just the variable that you want to change based on a theme. Like you're going to say, okay, this is my base theme, and I'm going to customize these 3 4 variables. Then you build it, and it will create a custom thing, and then you copy that, or as we did, we just put directly the path to that one. If you do all those steps, you will have a theme. Like we have a green theme here, that the only thing that we changed was the primary color. But basically, it was following all these steps here. And I think that we have not got more in depth, but I'm really excited what we can do, because we have a lot of great teams, but it's also really nice to be able that if your client has a green marketing, like color palette, let's try to accommodate them as much as we can, so we can look it exactly as they want. And if you, this is based on the color white on the regular, like the default theme from the Express, but you can see here that it's also already changing everything. Even the splash screen, everything is gonna be green here, and same thing on the detail view and everything. This is another one, Dave, that I want to create a tutorial from beginning to end. I have to be honest, every time that I see something like NPM Node, it's just like, but like, sometimes we have to. Let's give it a second. And right here, like if we click on it, open it, you will see that primary color everywhere. It has changed to green. And this is basically, and this is what I really like there is a lot more customization that we can do now with Blazor, with dependency injection for those services, with customization of the UI. So we are really excited about everything that is happening and everything that we can achieve. So I have a couple extra demos for hiding the navigation if you are in a specific resolution. I external navigation on the navigation and so on. But I think that we have a lot to cover with everything that Dennis provided. So I'm gonna keep it short today, and for the next one we can do a more tip and tricks number 2, I think, and go to a lot of cool demos, a lot of cool things. I will love again anyone who wants to share their experience. I know Dave is gonna be releasing the Llama Logger beta or alpha the next month, a couple months. So that's another thing to keep stay tuned to. And thanks always for being here. Jorge always will ask for the picture, and Dennis, please.
Yeah, I forgot, since we talked about WinForms developers, I forgot about them and wanted to show some
please.
neat feature to
Please.
keep them happy. Because, you know, as I see from personal experience, talking to people, and also from stats, there are still many WinForms developers, and they will continue to create new WinForms projects for another 5 or 10 years. And as I see it, greatly depends on the country. Example, I was last month in Sweden and visited some XAF customers. They have not created desktop applications, I think, for 3 years or more. But there are countries like Germany, Austria, where many people still do this. Okay, let me take your screen quickly. This feature is about template customization. You know, it's pretty similar to what you demoed for Blazor, and you know, in WinForms you have the same capability to customize your main page to provide additional forms. And previously, before XAF 22.25, we had issues with .NET Core WinForms Designer, and we have addressed those issues. Basically, the change is about adding a new specific package for design time to operate correctly. You may remember, if you are fluent in WinForms development, you are already familiar with this devexpress.win.design package that basically provides the WinForms designer with options to work with devexpress controls. It's required because Microsoft has changed the way designers operate in .NET Core, so there is some client server application internally, and like client and server, they talk to each other when you customize things in your form designer. And basically we provided a similar package with required infrastructure for XAF, and you can now customize forms visually again in 22.2.5. So I hope you will like it. That's it. Just a quick demo that we don't forget WinForms.
Yeah, but it's really nice, and we won't forget it ever. Like WinForms is still the more stable, more productive, more faster way to do things, and it's what we know without close. So, Ocha, get ready to
ready.
Everyone for the picture. I'm really happy with this meetup today. We covered a lot of things. This has been really awesome. To the point that I felt silly to keep showing small demos when we have so much information to cover. So.
Yeah, thank you very much for hosting these events. It's very helpful for the community, and I believe people learn new things every meeting. And let's continue, let's exchange information, and for our side, we will continue to share news in our Facebook group and post them on Twitter, because we have a lot of things happening internally. A lot of documentation is being created internally, a lot of enhancements. And as always, we look forward to your feedback in the Supper Center or in person, in email. By the way, I will be flying to Poland, to Warsaw tomorrow. So if there are any customers from Poland available for meeting tomorrow, I will be ready to talk about everything, since I have a very long connection flight.
Let's see if at one point we're lucky to have you on this side of the world.
Yeah, it's my to-do list.
So, ready? It's time for the picture. Get ready. All the cameras on. Let's wait for more people to. I guess we are done. So 1, 2, 3, and just in case, another one. 1, 2, 3. Thanks. You will see it in the group.
All right, thanks everyone. As Danny was saying, like there is a lot of great things coming from 2023. I definitely strongly believe that you cannot be successful on your own. You need the community, you need to grow, you need like everyone like sharing their experience and like using the tool and giving us feedback. So thanks a lot for that, and see you guys next month for the next meetup. Thanks again for joining.
Everyone.
Bye-bye.